Hello, everyone, and welcome to God Mike Will Talk. My name is DanDan of GodlessLongganisa, and welcome to the show. So, what is God Mike Will Talk? God Mike Will Talk is a show where we podcasters get a chance to talk about topics that we don't normally discuss in our own shows. And this is also where you get and hear what's behind the mic. And joining me today are my kapamilya's pod siblings in Cutprint Podcast. Let's start with VP.
Hello. Hi, my name is VP. I am one third of Tsaastrology, and I am the Cutprint podcast dedicated tech support.
Ay, may ganyan po tayo. Okay. Sige. Next. Bern.
Hi, my name is Bern, more popularly known as Astrologer Gemini, and I'm another one third of Astrology. And yeah. Hi.
The designated one.
Wala. Wala akong designation.
Sige. Next is we have Earl.
Hi everyone, ako si Earl and I'm one third of 35 and up. Wala din akong designation na sa password.
Designated dito.
Ako siguro yung designated dito nila.
Ayan. Kung baka dito naman ako, kala mo naman hindi ako 30.
Kala mo di sila magka-age room.
May end of year, mas matanda na si Earl sa akin. Diba? And finally, we have Bonnie. Hi, Bonnie.
Hi everyone, I'm Brian Bonney of It's Roundtable Podcast, the only host of It's Roundtable Podcast, and I'm the muse of Cutprint Podcast.
Ano ba?
Ay, hindi ba?
Hindi ako
Parang nasabihan ako ni Padmother, ako daw yung queen.
May botohan pala.
Lagot ka kay RJ, sa kay Alwin, mag-aaway.
Double check ko kay Padmother, pero yung na-receive kong email
Nagbobotohan pa eh. Sabi. Alright. So, what are we gonna talk about this time? So, sabi ko kanina, this is where this is a place where we talk about the things that we don't normally talk about in our own show. So, for this episode, we will talk about the joys and pains of podcasting.
Ooh.
Kasi mas maganda kapag may pains din. Hindi mo pwedeng joy lang kasi mapula.
Yes,
True.
tama.
My joy? Charot.
Asan yung joy?
Kasi hindi.
Pero siguro mas maganda kung sisimulan natin sa mga struggles or pains ng podcasting. Parang kasi gano'n naman talaga, di ba? Kailangan mo na masakit. Tapos ako okay, sorry, YouTube pala to.
Keeping it PG.
Okay.
Podcast po tayo.
Okay. So let's start with the struggles. Paano kayo nag-start with your podcasting and ano yung mga struggles nyo when it comes to setting up or starting with your podcast? Let's start with Tsaastrology since kayo medyo mga nauna-una sa amin.
Grabe yung nauna.
Oo.
Institution, ganun.
Actually, kami
sige.
yung nasa eh. Pero since ako yung host, okay.
Sige, VP, go.
Sige. Well, yung for me, I think yung biggest pain point ng podcasting, especially when you're just getting started, is kung parang figuring out what you want to talk about and how you want to talk about that topic. Kasi hindi siya parang, okay, may topic ako and then I'm gonna make a podcast. Parang, it doesn't work that way. Hindi naman siya parang voice note lang. You really kind of have to put on a show din talaga that people would want to listen to whatever your topic is. So, parang, it's figuring out that topic and parang paano yung dynamic nyo if you have a co-host. how are we going to present ourselves? Is this going to be comedic? Is this going to be factual? Or parang medyo self-help levels ba siya? So parang that alone I think is kind of a big pain point. But yun naman, once you get through that, well, hindi mo na siya paproblemahin ulit. I mean, you now have a podcast. Parang ganun.
Totoo. Totoo. Maganda talaga kapag alam mo na kung yung gusto mong pag-usapan. Kasi kung kaysa kapag nakaset up na siya tapos mangangapa ka pa lang din, di ba?
Yeah. Parang, I wanna make a podcast. Tungkol saan?
Yeah.
Hmm.
To add lang dun sa sinabi ni VP na parang when I parang talked about how to start a podcast dun sa work ko, parang dun ko na realize na you don't just get a mic and start right away. You have to parang plan somehow plan ahead na parang kasi okay, for example, sabi nga ni VP, may naisip kang topic and you want to talk about it, you want to start a podcast. It doesn't usually work like that kasi ano yun you're preparing a show nga eh. Parang if you're gonna be talking about one topic lang over and over, I don't think may engage mo yung listeners or potential audiences mo with that. So yun. Another I think then nung nagsa-start pa lang kami was mostly equipment. We started Tsaastrology literally sa garahe, like most white people do.
Wow.
Literally sa garahe nila VP na we're just huddled around a Mac. Tapos, ayan, we're recording as we go. Ganyan. We don't have scripts. We don't have anything. But we have a topic in mind for one episode na gusto namin pag-usapan. Pero yeah, struggle, logistics, I guess. Because, well, for VP and Nikki, they're both from QC. I'm coming from Cavite. And we always had to, nung pwede pang lumabas, we always had to meet together para isang recorded lang kami. So yun, pabiyahe ako from Cavite to QC. Yeah. Well, hindi naman siya ganun ka pain point, I think. Pero it could present a challenge somehow.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Na-imagine ko yung setup yung tatlo kayong nakaikot sa isang mic.
Wala na kaming mic.
Wala nga mic
It's just the laptop mic itself
Ay,
na
talaga?
ginagamit namin.
Kasi nandyan lang yung laptop, tapos okay na.
Wow.
Pero di ba your first episode was parang nasa remote place ka, Bern? Tama ba?
Yeah, that
Yun.
yung
Sa
first
Batanes yun.
episode namin, parang biglaan kasi parang idea yata ni VP na tayo parang if we don't start it, we'll never get started. So parang, okay, sige, let's. So ayun, we had like a conference call through Anchor. Tatlo kami. I was at the office. Tapos mahina yung signal ko kasi talaga dun sa area.
Kaya nawawala ka.
Oo. Buti nila ako na lang mag-isa sa office that time.
Alam mo, gusto ko yung sentiment na if we don't start now, we won't get started. Kasi same yung nangyari din sa amin na I just gave it an arbitrary name na nahirapan pa yung mga audience or mga kakilala namin na hanapin. Kasi gusto ko lang talaga siyang simulan kasi tapos ako na pinangalanan later ng GodlessLongganisa.
Ano ba yung original name niyo?
ARMMC the podcast. After the ATS group namin.
ATS Republic.
Okay.
Kayo naman, Earl, ano yung mga first na naging struggles nyo as a trio din? Since trio din naman kayo sa inyo.
Kami naman, yung struggle namin yung parang katulad lang nung kila Bern, yung mga material na gagamitin mo para mag-podcast. Kasi wala kaming maayos na laptop na talagang merong magandang mic and yung topic kasi nandun na. Mga nakaisip na kami ng inisipan na namin kung ano ba yung gusto namin pag-usapan, ganyan. Making a podcast is an auditory experience. So, hindi lang siya yung parang may podcast kami, may topic kami i-record natin, mag-usap tayo, ganyan. Sometimes merong ganong show and nakakakuha sila ng ganong traction. Pero for you to be followed in the long run, kailangan kahit paano mapagbalanse mo yung maayos na topic tsaka yung personality ng host na mag-shine din dun sa topic na parang the host can express themselves kasi dun may in love yung mga tao dun sa host kung paano niya i-deliver. Like people love RJ because iba yung mga quirks niya, tapos kaiba siya mag-isip tungkol sa amin dalawa ni Zaiza. So parang ako din nagulat ako na gano'n na parang meron din pala talagang mga iba-ibang klase ng tao na makaka-relate sa iba-ibang host.
Parang ang iniisip ko sa ganyan, gusto ko yung sentiment na ganyan na yung content mo or yung pag-uusapan mo, yung team ng show nyo, kaya rin namang i-discuss ng ibang tao. It's your personality that will make people hope or magstay sa napapahinggan nila ulit yung next na episode niyo
Tama.
Kayo ba, Bonnie, paano kayo nagsimula ng Is the Round Table?
Anong tawag dito? Hi. Definitely, I agree with all their answers. Alam mo yun, technicalities and logistics-wise, definitely, yes, we also experienced that. But since I'm from the It's Round Table podcast, we talk about, emotions, work and life balance. So I want to focus more on the emotional aspects of starting a podcast. Because aside from all the, equipment, whatever, isa sa struggle lang being a podcaster when starting is yung having the courage to really start it. Kaya I agree with you na kapag di ka nag-start, kailan pa? Alam mo yun? Di ba? Hindi ka makakapag-start talaga kung hindi ka nag-start. So, number one is yung finding that courage to know or to do podcasting without even knowing it. Alam mo yun? Kasi
Yes.
even podcasting or podcast itself is not that very hype when we started. Compared this year, I mean, ang daming podcast channels na nag-release because of pandemic, right? Pero tayo, nag-start tayo, it's just there. Alam mo yun?
Ano yung podcast? Parang ganun.
Yeah, di ba? Yung mga first episodes namin, our friends are asking us na, hey, what's podcasting? Where can I listen? Alam mo yun, mga ganun na basic questions. So, yun eh. So, given na dun tayo nang galing, yung courage na, oh my God, papasok kami sa mundong hindi natin alam.
Tayo mismo, no? Tayo mismo
hindi natin alam. Pinapasok natin yung mundong hindi natin alam. Hindi tayo familiar. So, that's number one, the courage ng, alam mo yun, ng podcaster to do that thing. Yeah. And number two, I guess, is yung story, yung branding, yes. Yung story na your podcast is telling the world. Alam mo yun, it's one of the juices ng channel mo Dapat you have a story to tell, hindi lang kukuda ka lang for what. Alam mo yun. So, for all the listeners out there who na nagko-consider putting up a podcast, maybe consider, thinking about the story talaga na you really want to tell or the purpose why you are here. Because bottom line or at the end of the day, purpose talaga yung magsasalba sa'yo. Kung pagod ka na, kung wala yung fire, kung wala yung passion, kung wala na lahat yon, si purpose lang yung nandun
Yeah,
alam mo, so babalik ka doon. So, I guess those are the two basic foundations of being a podcaster.
Ikaw ba, DanDan, ano ba yung purpose ng podcast niyo?
Wow, grabe. Ako yung host, ang binabalik sa akin. But yeah, GodlessLongganisa has always existed to become an outlet or a safe place for atheists to share their stories. Kasi may mga notions nga na ang atheists, ganito, troll or barubal, masama ugali. So, I wanted to have that avenue for atheists to express na hindi kami to. We're we're normal people like you. We have hearts. Hindi kami lahat matalino, hindi kami lahat tarantado. May mga mababait na kagaya ko, di ba? Yun.
Talaga?
Yeah. In some way, pag maganda yung gising. But, but kidding aside, yun nga yung purpose na gusto kong ipakita na ito yung pinaniniwalaan namin, and I want to remove that stigma or the bad image na basic atheist na gano'n nga, nakipag-away online,
Yeah.
Or
nakipag-debate.
satanista,
Yeah.
ganyan.
And in a way, yun parang gano'n na din yung reward or yung joy for me as a podcaster na ma-express ko kung ano yung gusto ko ma-express, yung parang ma-release ko siya sa world.
Yeah.
Kayo ba, other than doing or having to discuss or having that platform to discuss your passion, ano masasabi nyo yung mga joys naman ng podcasting? Pabaliktad naman tayo. Let's start with Bonnie.
Okay, Joy. Ano ba? Ang dami. Ang dami. Pero kanina wala. Ano ba talaga? Hindi, ang joy naming mga host ng podcast channels are, for me personally, talaga, yung may taong nag-engage talaga sa, sa channels mo. I think we all agree na kapag you put a content out there, it's fine na. Sabi natin walang makinig, it's fine, okay, it's fine. Kaya lang talagang nakakataba ng puso yung yung mga taong nagfi-feedback sa kahit negative, 'di ba? Basta may nag-feedback sa just knowing na
May nakinig.
someone out there is listening to your content or appreciating your content out there. So, yung mga listeners namin dyan na talagang nagla-like, nag-send ng messages, and all engagement na, they can do, talagang ang laki ng impact nun sa amin. It really gives us this certain power to push forward more and exert more effort compared from the last episodes na we gave to them. So, ayun.
Maganda nga na hanggat meron nakikinig. Yun yung
Yeah.
isang magandang
Yeah.
driver talaga. Kasi
True.
parang ano pa naman ang purpose ko? Ano pang yung record na magpupuyat ka, magre-research ka pa, tapos wala rin naman pala makikinig.
Yeah.
But
Actually, may nabasa ako na tweet, I think the other day, na parang, if you like something that was made by a content creator, tell them. Kasi marami siya nakilalang content creator who stopped creating because walang feedback,
Nobody
nobody minded or anything.
Yeah.
Tapos parang nung nag-stop yung content creator na yan, somebody messaged them na parang, why did you stop making? I loved your videos, ganyan. That small thing, kung sinabi siya beforehand, it would have kept that person going and kept on creating whatever he's creating, diba? So parang, it's very important for us din na makarinig ng ganong feedback kahit hindi siya maganda, kahit negative siya. Alam mo yan? Because there's may balik, kumbaga.
Oo.
True.
Parang ganon. Tapos parang, ayun.
Kasi kahit negative pa yung feedback na yun, parang hindi, parang mas lalo ko pa nga minsan magigigil na
It's
sa...
fine. Kasi, even if you get a negative feedback, it keeps you going. Na parang, okay. Either number one, I will prove you wrong, or number two, it gives me more reason to exist and to annoy you. Ganyan.
Pangit pala ng boses ko, Wes.
Ano ba? I'm not gonna leave, honey.
Kayo naman, Earl, ano bang makakonsider mo na naging rewards or joys ng podcasting?
given na yung mga engagements, kasi talaga nakakatuwa yun, nakaka-push talaga yun. Totoo yun, yung lalo na yung mga nagdi-DM, tapos yung akala mo hindi naman pala nakikinig, yung akala mo hindi napansin yung single part na yan sa conversation, tapos may biglang message, ang ganda nung sinabi ni ganto na ganyan. Iba yun, iba yung feeling, nakaka-high, tapos parang nakakakilig, na parang, uy, may nakinig, parang nakaka-validate. Pero aside from that, yung naka-earn kami ng new friends with other podcasters, sa Hotprint, yung lumawak din yung yung mga skills mo sa paggawa ng content. Ang dami kong natutunan sa paggawa ng podcast. Dati hindi ko alam mag-Audacity. Ngayon medyo nakakasingkit ako ng kung ano-anong mga tawag dito, sound effects, gano'n.
Natin yung mga term, reverb, mga ganyan.
Oo, dati naman wala sa akin yun eh. Parang kumbaga nagkaroon ako ng bagong skill. Hindi man siya makakasagip ng apocalypse or something. Pero proud ako na pag kunwari, kailangan mong gumawa ng isang show. Parang, I can put up a show. I do that all the time. Parang gano'n. Yun. New friends na I think naman we're gonna be lifelong friends, if not for a very long time. And a new skill. It's two of my joys.
Maganda nga yan. Alam mo, isa daw sa mga advice ng mga psychologists or ng mga neurologists ba ang tawag nila doon, to avoid Alzheimer's is for you to learn new skills every day.
Ay, wow.
Parang may nakapagsabi sa akin. Or baka fake news na ako. Pero inisip ko na lang na maganda na parang hindi ako magka-Alzheimer's is turuan ko yung sarili ko ng new skills.
It's a brain exercise anyway. So.
Yeah, true.
Saka yun eh, parang dagdag ko lang doon sa sinabi ni Earl na it's this may come off as selfish pero sobrang satisfying din for yourself minsan just to get something out there. And parang talking is really one of those things na sobrang therapeutic. Diba?
Yeah.
Parang you get to release your ideas or even minsan yung mga worries mo. You get to say it out there, and regardless kung may makarinig, may makapansin or wala, just being able to do that kind of parang helps. Especially these days na parang hindi tayo lumalabas ng bahay.
True.
Parang you're just
it's an outlet, tama.
Oo. So parang may napupuntahan siya.
True.
So yeah, yun sabihin ko lang na minsan ito pa nga yung highlight ng week ko either magi-game night tayo or magre-record na kami ng podcast. Yun na lang. Parang yun na lang yung reward ko sa sarili ko na meron akong gagawin.
Yun na yung highlight.
Actually. I love that.
Yun yung highlight ng linggo mo, DanDan.
Ang sad.
It's sad, pero kasi yun na lang talaga kasi hindi rin ako makalabas ng village namin. So,
ako I'll just add lang din kay this is point na sinabi ni Bonnie kanina. Kasi yung feedback from audiences, the most fulfilling feedback that we usually get sa Tsaastrology is when people say na sobrang natutuwa kami kasi nakakatulong kayo sa mental health namin. We even had a message before who said na they were on a verge of taking their life that time, but somehow listening to our episodes got them through that thing na pinagdadaanan nila. And that's, I don't know if
that's
I don't know. I don't want to be self-serving, but it's really something na alam mo yun, na parang alam mo yun, sobrang improv lang yung ginagawa namin, wala kaming script, pero somehow nakakatulong siya with how other people deal with their everyday life. So parang may effect pa lang ganon. And that's something na parang iikot ka lang din doon na parang nagkakaroon ka ng sense of purpose somehow to keep going with what you're doing. Mga ganun. So parang sobrang nakakataba siya ng
Na,
Nang nakakataba.
ng bewang.
Nakataba in general. Kasi,
But yeah, sobrang ano na parang minsan may times
That's
na
nice.
parang it doesn't make sense anymore. Parang what's the point of doing
Right.
this? And then you see messages like that. Na parang hindi naman parang obligating you, pero it's more like yourself. You're saying na parang I have to keep doing this because there are people like this.
yes, yes.
That's it. Oh.
Yeah. Sa parang wala na sila minsang kinakapitan, matatakbuhan, and nagiging refuge nila is listening to your podcast, your show.
Yeah.
That's already enough to keep you going. Kahit nakakapagod, kahit sobrang daming pain in or challenges in producing a podcast. Those little things, diba?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yun. So, kanina nabrushan natin ng konti, kahit konti yung mga mga tips o yung mga pinagdaanan natin when we were starting our podcast. One piece of advice.
Yes.
Advice.
Sabi niya yung podcaster bulal. So what piece of advice that you would give to someone who would like to start their own podcast?
Uy, ang hirap pa. Parang,
Oo nga.
Very Miss Universe question.
Kasi parang
Thank
yan
you
din
for
yung mga hinahanap ko nung mag-start ako ng podcast eh. Ano ba yung
Ba't natin sila tutulungan? Nag-struggle na tayo noon.
Hindi ako
Parang, pinagdaanan mo din.
Pag-develop ng character yun.
Sige,
Hindi,
Bern.
ako siguro, from the top of my head, if you think you have something like a good topic or like a good idea, just go do it, put it out there. Kasi, you know what? May makikinig at may makikinig dyan somehow. And alam mo yan, you don't have to aim for popularity kagad when you come out, when you publish your show and stuff like that. Kasi parang popularity is just a fringe benefit. Parang ano lang yun eh. Parang cherry on top na lang siguro yun.
Yeah.
Pero if you have like a very good idea and you want to share it to the world, just go do it. Yan. Go ahead. Eventually, may mamimit ka or may makikilala ka who would say that you've touched their lives with the content that you produced. And that itself is yung pinaka-reward mo na. At least for me.
Saka to add to that, I know sinabi natin kanina na parang to be able to start, you have to go through parang choosing a topic and making a show out of it. But that's also part of the fun na parang if you have that good idea, start muna, go muna. What's your topic? How are you going to make a show out of it? And then just go do it. Parang yun yung biggest biggest advice ko na din yun, I guess, na parang whatever you have on your table, use it and start something. You can always build something along the way.
Yeah.
True.
Diba?
True. I agree with VP. Well, ako naman actually, lagi namin sinasabi sa show namin na there's no perfect ingredients in starting a new skill or career, or for example this podcast. You know what I mean? I mean, there's no 100% like accurate answer
Correct.
to start a podcast. So taming sinasabi ni VP, if kung kinakabahan ka to start a podcast, start mo pa rin. If you don't know what podcast is, start mo pa rin. Pero yun yung fire mo. You know what I mean? Kahit di ka kompleto, kahit wala kang idea, basta you have that fire and you have that purpose, bira lang ng bira, lagi ang sinasabi. Bato lang ng bato. And then, you will definitely learn the process along the way.
Yeah.
Saka ang maganda doon, when you're, building from scratch talaga, you will build also the character, the discipline, the value of it all. Kaysa, alam mo yun, kasi parang naniniwala ako na kapag galing ka talaga from scratch, like you don't know anything at all, mas okay yung value mo compared dun sa mga nag-shortcuts talaga like.
Oh.
Alam mo
Mas
yun?
valuable siya.
Oo,
Mas may,
mas ramdam mo eh. Pag nandun ka na sa tuktok, mas ramdam mo na, oh my God, this is it. Alam mo yon. So, kung di ka ready, ibato mo lang yan. So, kaya mo yan. Yun lang.
Si Earl, ikaw, anong advice mo sa mga bagong podcaster?
Aside from the key points na binigay ng other three guests, for me, it's a growing experience. Tama yung sinabi ni Bonnie, you're gonna learn along the way and you're gonna find help along the way. So, you're gonna meet people who will eventually help you out in the process na habang ginagawa yung podcast mo, you're gonna learn skills, you're gonna learn new things na makaka-enrich ng buhay mo. And in the end, it might be also helping you out as a podcaster. And also as a person, baka makakatulong din siya. Ako lagi ko sinasabi sa mga nakakausap ko, podcast helps me. It saves me also. I went to a point of my life na parang kinapitan ko yung podcast because I'm lonely. There was a part of my life na I was sad. And I'm getting out of that. Pero podcast helps me because there's something to do and there's something to look forward to. Yeah.
Ganda na.
Correct.
Ganda.
Oh. Kung ako naman ang tatanungin, parang medyo lalayo lang ako sa mga nasabi na. Pero one piece of advice lang siguro lalo na doon sa mga topic na kailangan ng mga intensive research or yung mga topic na yung mga shows na medyo humahaba yung usapan ninyo, create an outline. Yun lang, yung naiisip ko. Kasi parang napapansin ko sa mga past episodes namin, parang may mga namimiss akong item na parang, uy, sana sinabi ko to, uy, sana parang mali yung nasabi ko to. Parang,
Yeah.
parang pag na-release mo na siya, parang it's too late na na mababawi mo pa. Pwede kang mag-tweet siguro to redact your statement or to correct your statement, pero parang andyan na eh. Ulitin mo na naman ba? Parang magre-record ka pa ba ulit ng isa? Yun lang.
Pwede ka rin mag-part 2. Pwede ka mag-part 2 ng episode.
Part 2.
Oo, or redux, ganun. Kasi kami din, nung kami nila Bern, kahit nung nagsa-start pa lang talaga sa Tsaastrology, sure, wala kaming script kasi parang gusto talaga namin na parang improv comedy to eh. So, pero meron kaming outline. Kahit 2 points lang yan. Kahit 2 bullets
Diba?
lang yan. Parang
Basic.
at least,
Yeah.
alam mo kung saan siya pupunta or saan mo siya dadalhin. Kasi,
Or saan ka babalik kapag
kapag masyadong malayo na.
Because if you're a person who's into talking a lot, talagang kung saan napupunta yung
Something to read
saan
you
napupunta
back.
yung topic.
Oo.
So parang, I agree na somehow important yung outline.
Feeling ko we all agree on that. Kasi lahat tayo, pero lahat tayo host.
Nawawala.
Lahat tayo namin sa live.
Oo. Kasi pag wala kang
It's life,
outline, wala na. Oo.
Kung saan ka madali.
Unless that's the whole idea of your show, which is just to ramble and go wherever.
Get
Or
lost
3
in
oras
your
kayo
thoughts.
magsasalita. Ganun.
That's fine. That's your thing, diba? So, diba? Pero especially important siya nga sa research heavy na mga themes.
Yeah.
Like for example, yung isa kong podcast which is the story norms. And isa pang doon is you have to be accurate kasi that's
Yes.
history. You cannot be wrong and you cannot be incorrect kasi madadali ka doon eh. And the whole idea pa doon is we're drunk. So, diba? Ang hirap na to be factual and accurate and also tipsy. So,
Especially at time like this na uso yung historical revisionism. So,
yeah. So yeah, it does help na meron kami. What I do there is I do my research. I write them down as in word for word. Tapos yun yung babasahin ko. I try at least. Kasi,
May question pala ako. Speaking of historical revisionism, Sino yung client? Ba't pa-revise ng pa-revise? Charot lang. Just wanna lighten up the mood. Ang
Kaya,
seryoso natin
kaya madidilig. Ay, so speaking of being light naman, where do you see podcast or podcasting going? Or where do you see it going in general para siguro in around 5 to 10 years? Where do you want to take your show pala? Or
Sige.
You're gonna go to Bicon next week.
Depende kung pwede na lumabas. The joke lang.
Buhat-buhat na yung podcast, no?
Hmm. Ito ang podcast ko.
Ano ba?
Where do you see your podcast? I think it's going to be parang, di ba, nauso yung blog and then nauso yung YouTube. I think it's going there. Parang ganun. And it's gonna be big. Especially in the Philippines. Ang internet is, I don't know, it's slow, pero grabe gamit na gamit ang internet sa Pilipinas. And, tsaka Filipinos love to talk.
Tsaka ang daming nagsulpot ang podcast ng mga bago. Recently.
Sobrang dami
Go,
because of
podcast time lahat. Go.
Yeah, true.
I mean, it's a way of conversation eh. Na parang you're still building a community. Diba?
Yeah.
Na you listen to each other's podcasts, nakikinig din sila sa inyo.
That's true.
So,
Tsaka
It's a community.
it provided a platform for those people who are iffy about starting a vlog.
Yes.
Or are unsure of shooting
Yeah.
themselves on video.
Yeah.
Pero they have the ideas. So parang podcasting parang it opened a whole new scene for them.
Yeah.
Parang pwede na rin ako na maging content creator. I can
Yeah.
do this now kasi this is something
That's
for
right.
me. Diba?
That's right.
Yeah.
Ganun.
Yeah. And sa business side naman ng podcasting, based talaga sa research, and there's a lot of articles talaga out there saying that podcasting will be so big in the next 2 or 3 years. So, and especially right now, pandemic season, yung pag-consume talaga ng content is surprisingly, actually not surprisingly, like super high talaga because people are in internet all the time or most of their time. Kaya talagang dumadami yung demand sa mga content creators. So isa na nga tayo si podcast who are producing content there for people to consume. So ayun, so 2 to 3 years from now, it will be like the next, tama si Earl, it will be the next YouTube, it will be the next Instagram. So I hope, ito sinabi natin to Bern and VP sa Go Negosyo. I hope marketers out there will, consider podcast as one of their main digital marketing options also. Not just Instagram, not just YouTube. I hope sa upcoming years, isa tayo sa main options nila to help them bring value to the table.
Yeah, tsaka on the business side kasi, parang it provide, for example, you're a brand, podcasting provides more time for exposure of your
True.
brand. Diba? You don't just flash there for 30 seconds. You have a whole episode, say 20 minutes or 30 minutes, just talking about your product, diba? So parang nagkakaroon ng immersion or nagkakaroon ng, should we say saturation siguro, ng familiarization about your brand. Diba?
Yeah. Tsaka yung dating talaga kapag yung brand galing sa podcast is mas intimate eh. Ayun lagi kong sinasabi, si podcasting talaga is more intimate platform compared to all other platforms out there. Kaya when you talk to your followers who are, listening to you like 30 minutes long, it's a very targeted market.
Tama yan.
Listeners will definitely absorb those brand messages na gusto parating, ng marketing nyo. So,
Quality talaga, no? Quality talaga.
True.
We'll
Siya
talk
yung
more about
ah,
that siguro
the
sa
reach
next
of
episode.
marketing.
Bakit kasi tayo napupunta sa business?
Ewan ko kayo dyan. Reel in mo na.
Kayo eh. Hindi kasi, hindi,
Ang dami namin
ganyan,
content
ganyan,
dyan.
yan yung evidence sa ganyan kasi kung gaano talaga pwedeng maging diverse yung mga taong pwedeng pumasok sa podcast.
True,
Kasi
true.
we have people from marketing like you guys. Ako, I'm coming from a financial industry pero 'di ba I'm here sa
Yeah, yeah.
so
Yeah.
podcasting is really for everyone. And we can talk more and more about so many things lalo na dito sa in our show na podcasters tayo na sama-sama pa
Gigil tayo.
forever. Daldal natin lahat. But
Oh, you want to talk?
we'll have to end here. But let's probably in the next or at this point, let's invite our audience or our viewers right now to listen to our own podcast. Let's start with Bonnie.
Yes, hi. So to all our viewers out there. Oh my God, ako sanay sa YouTube.
Oo nga eh.
Hi. Hi, YouTube people. So hi, I'm Brian Bonnie of It's the Roundtable Podcast. If you want to know, if you want to balance work and life, maybe one episode at a time, go ahead and check my podcast. It's on Apple Podcast and Spotify. So see you there.
Social media.
Yes, thanks, Dan. We are actually all over the place. We have YouTube, we have Instagram, we have tweet, all social media platforms. We are there, even TikTok. So yeah, we're all there. So but
Next and
just look it up,
OnlyFans.
it's Roundtable Podcast. We're there.
Okay. Thank you, Bonnie. Earl, invite them to your show.
Hi, YouTube viewers. Okay. Hindi ako sanay. Just listen to 35 and Up. It's an after 30s podcast. So it's targeted actually for yung mga batang 90s. Na you're all in your 35 and up right now. But we're also very welcoming to everyone. So the goal of the podcast is for all of us to become better grown-ups. And we're going to help each other along the way through that podcast. So you can visit our link tree, I guess, is linktr.ee/35 and up. And then po lahat ng social media platforms namin. Also, if I may promote my other podcast, it's called The Philippine Campfire Stories. Tagalog podcast siya for yung mga kwentong humalas sa mga kasaysayan at kababalaghan sa Philippines. So it's gonna start on October 30.
Earl, Bern.
Yes, hi sa mga viewers namin. Thank you for watching this video, and I would like to invite you, if you haven't yet, listen to our show, Tsaastrology, the podcast. It's available on all podcast platforms. You could also find us on all social media. Well, not all. It's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Tsaastrology. Madali kaming hanapin as in. So, yan.
Spell ang
It's the
Tsaastrology.
SAASTROLOGY. Ayan, lagi ako nagkakamali doon. But anyway, if also you want to, for us to discuss any other topic next episodes, just comment below. Yan, yun lang. Yeah, comment below. We have to say it now.
Yeah.
Bern, Suriname. You want to invite them?
If you'd like to listen to people getting drunk while retelling Philippine history, you can listen to Historinoms. You can find us on Spotify, Google Podcast, other podcast platforms. We're also on social at Historinoms on Twitter and Instagram, and at Historinoms Podcast on Facebook. So yeah.
Awesome. Beats?
Okay, so hi. Nasabi na ni Bern, so that's that's all well and good. But please do listen to Tsaastrology, the podcast, where in most major podcast platforms, I guess. And yeah, if you like the video or if you want us to talk about anything else, you can always comment below. And always please try to subscribe and hit the bell thing kasi
Yeah.
it's a thing now, I guess, because we're on
Wow.
YouTube. Ayun. And kung hindi pa kayo nagsasawa sa boses ko sa Tsaastrology, there's also the Shippers PH where we talk about all types of love, boys love, girls love, heteronormative love, ganun. But mostly yun. And you can also try to listen to Woe or No if you want to find out kung yung mga latest trends or products out there is a Woe or a No. You can find those on socials at the Shippers
Busy ni
PH
VP.
and at Woe or No Show. Ayun.
What is sleep?
Abangan niyo rin po yung mga upcoming shows ni VP in the next few months.
Oh, wow. Monday to Sunday po. Makikita niyo si VP.
Oo. Actually, parang ngayon Monday to Friday na eh. But,
Mag-aasap na din po si VP.
sa ano,
Gusto ko
SOP,
yun.
ganyan.
Right, thank you guys. So as for me, please follow us in social media. We are GodlessLongganisa in Facebook and Godless Chorizo in Instagram and Twitter. And please do listen and follow us in Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. We are Godless Longganisa. That's GodlessLongganisa. Okay.
Dan,
Ayun. Yeah.
you do realize na may video na, no? So you don't have to spell. Pwede siya
Ayaw nga,
ilagay sa
no?
labor.
Okay.
We're nasasanay sa podcast.
Oo nga, okay.
And this is our first video episode. So
Oo.
pagpasensyahan nyo na.
Nag-adjust pa tayo sa YouTube.
I-adjust pa kami.
Yeah, so gaya rin naman sabi nila, if you like videos like this or more videos like this from God Mike Will Talk, please do follow us in YouTube and subscribe pala. So hit that subscribe button and like this video and hit that bell notification button. And if you want to hear more topics that we would like to would like to hear more from you, rather, comment in the comment box below. Hindi talaga ako masanay. But yeah, thank you everyone. So that's it for God Mike Will Talk. See you again next time. And bye.
Paalam!
Bye!
Bye, everyone.
Bye.